Cowboys and Aliens, like Surrogates from the other day, is another film that I went to see initially without ever even realizing that it was based on a comic book. I was attracted to this film for mainly three reasons. The first reason is the stellar cast. You got Daniel Craig, Harrison Ford, Olivia Wilde, a bunch of others. Hell, even that dude that voiced Turok is in this. The second reason is the director, Jon Favreau. I've usually liked his films. And the third is the ridiculous premise. I mean, okay, it only sounds ridiculous until you really stop and think about it. I mean, why does every alien invasion story have to happen in the present? Why can't it be in the Old West? Also, War of the Worlds actually took place in the 1890s anyway, so yeah. Okay, so the main character here is played by Daniel Craig, though at the beginning of the film, he suffers from memory loss. We learn later that he's a notorious outlaw named Jake, who at one point must have been abducted by the aliens who are trying to prepare for a full-scale invasion by studying humans and our weaknesses. Craig's character, Jake, as I mentioned, wakes up with no memory of who he is, and with a strange device attached to his wrist, which turns out to be an alien weapon that he can control with his mind. He's quickly captured by lawmen as he is wanted. The sheriff who captured him has also captured another guy, this drunk guy named Percy, who's played by Paul Dano. His father is a wealthy cattle rancher named Woodrow Dollarhide, who's played by Harrison Ford, and he shows up to bail his kid out. The wild card is a mysterious woman named Ella, who's played by Olivia Wilde, and she's actually the one that subdued Jake, allowing him to be captured. Later, she reveals her own mysterious past and her connections to the aliens that are trying to probe humans for weaknesses. Eventually, the aliens attack the small town, and Jake is able to actually shoot down one of their ships with his mysterious weapon. And then there's a posse that's formed to go and track the injured pilot of the ship, though they wind up getting ambushed again. The survivors are captured by natives who think that this is all some demonic shit that the townspeople are responsible for. The natives, however, wind up actually helping Jake recover his memories, and that helps him locate where the aliens are hiding out so they could be wiped out. The rest of the movie actually plays out like a typical Western. You got the outlaw, the rancher, the posse, the outlaw's gang comes back together. They're all coming together to avenge deaths and settle a score. The only difference is there happens to be aliens in this. So really, it's actually not what I thought it was. I kind of expected a sci-fi movie that happens to be a Western, but it's actually a Western with some sci-fi elements. Now, the acting is all very good. The plot is all interesting enough, but the one thing I can't get over is the pacing. It's a very slow film. Normally, this wouldn't bother me. I don't mind a slow pace in a film, but this is not a movie that you expect to have such a slow pace. Now, going into this forewarned that it's going to be slow, that might make it work a little bit better, and I think it was better the second time that I watched it. But another issue is that it's just kind of forgettable. The entire thing is interesting and engaging while you're watching it, but both times that I did watch it, I felt my memory of the entire thing ebb away very quickly. So what we have here is a very competently made, slow burn Western that just happens to have aliens in it, but it's also somehow forgettable. And to be honest, a movie like this should be very memorable with its cast, its premise, and such. So all the actors play everything completely straight, and I'm not exactly sure that was the right way to take this. I mean, does a film called Cowboys and Aliens need to be so deadly serious? Does it need to take itself so seriously as a Western? It's well made, it's well acted, but it's just not fun. So that being said, I'm being slightly generous with this one. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Honestly, it probably would be a 5, objectively, but I just think that just because it is at least an interesting, engaging experience for the brief period of time that you are watching it, that at least gives it like the above average kind of feel to it. So I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10.